But now Sam just realized that he needs to make sure that this new table is secured and access is only provided to folks who actually need it. For that, he just realized that he needs to make sure that there are access controls in place for this table. To enable that, he goes that there's enough security on this table. To do that, he goes and creates some new roles, which are employee. So he thinks of two specific type of users. One is that other employees like him that are in the organization who might use this data. And then he thinks of a use case where a customer might want to log in and see their historical applications that they have applied for in the past and see what was the result for them and so on and so forth. So for that reason, he creates two roles. He assumes that there are two users for those roles, and he assigns uh, grant privileges to those two roles and those two users for this table, right? Now, if I show you this live in action, let me bring my another browser. So let's use test user who's an employee, just like Sam in his organization. And he starts doing a select on this table. He should not be able to see that table. It should give him an error. And it does give him a privilege error. Now, if he runs a grant on it, and now if he runs that again, he can see the table, right? But Sam just realized, and similarly, he does that for the customer, and similarly, he does that for the blue admin, which is the administrator, right? Okay, so here it is. Now he just realizes that his teammates might use this data to create any kind of ML model, but that may be biased because there's sensitive information here that he does not want them to use for their machine learning model building, right? So what he then wants to achieve is that while the information should be available, but it should be available anonymized. So for that, what he does is he uses an approach called column masking, right? So column masking is basically masking any sensitive column within the same table without moving the data. So what he does is he runs this command to mask the gender, and he says run, and he says yes, enable that on the table. Now if I run this from a persona of his own peer, he sees the table but genders are now masked. So this is the column masking, that he's able to share the same table with his teammates. However, he's able to put granular level of access controls so that the end users see what they are supposed to see without getting any sensitive information if Sam chooses to do so. Now, like I said, he have another use case where a customer might want to log in, right? And in that situation, the customer should only be seeing their own record and nobody else's record. So for that situation, he puts in place something called row level access control, which is done by doing so. And to give you the live demo for it, let's now log in as the customer. So right now, if I run a query as the customer one, and I run the query, it should show me all the data set, which is not what Sam wants. Sam wants to ensure that a customer like me is only able to see what belongs to me, my information. So he enables that and he enforces that on the table now. And now when this customer, kind of logs in, and then in the background, this query runs for him. It shows him only the loan ID that he's allowed to see, his own application, right? So now we have seen that Sam enabled auditing, so every event is captured. He then loaded a data set which created a table for it, and then he put fine granular level of security around those table and data sets, which makes it much more compliant and secured to collaborate and share this information with each other.